Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Simplilearn YouTube channel. Meta is a social media giant and tech powerhouse. It is estimated that 2.6 billion people use the platform, far more than any other social networking site. It's a dream company for many graduates to work in. Millions of people use the platform daily, which makes their employees' work incredibly impactful. You can be a part of this too. You just need to drive in the right gear and reach the stop. Practicing Meta interview questions will help you land your dream job at Meta. Many developers look to grab this opportunity of working with a 52,000 strong workforce. Since the competition is fierce, you'll have to prepare everything for the interview. From how to answer questions to what are the answers to the questions. Go through the comprehensive Meta interview questions and the step-by-step preparation guide. Before we begin, if you love watching tech videos, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to never miss an update. So in this session, you'll learn about Meta, its interview process, and the top Meta coding interview questions. Next, you will come across the technical questions. Finally, you'll learn about some tips for Meta interview preparation, and at the ending, we have FAQs. Before we head to interview questions, let's go through the Meta establishments. So Meta is one of the top social networking sites globally, created by Mark Zuckerberg in 2004. It's an American online social media site owned by Meta Platforms, which believes in delivering change, community building, and better growth. It ranked fourth in global internet usage in 2020, with around 2.8 billion monthly active users. In 2010, Meta became the most downloaded mobile app. Many well-renowned computer experts aim to get a job at Meta because the latter takes the matter of employment benefits and perks seriously. That makes people think about how their lives will be as software developers if they get a job in Meta and get the opportunity to learn, prosper, and build an amazing career for themselves. And here we have a simple question for you guys. When was Facebook launched? 2006, 2004, 2003, or 2002? Answer in the comments section, and we will update the correct answer in the pinned comment. Now let's go through the key stats about Meta. Meta has raised more than $5 billion to support the causes they care about. They have inaugurated more than 1 billion stores worldwide. They have more than 200 million connected businesses who use their services. And they run a platform where more than 100 billion messages are sent every day. Let's understand the Meta interview process. Connect with HR. The candidate's profile or resume should directly connect with HR. Further rounds take place once the candidate passes the HR round. Interview rounds. Meta conducts technical, behavioral, and situational interview rounds for various job positions. There are 7 rounds. The first 2 are conducted over the phone, and the rest are taken on site. Candidates get to interact with other employees in these rounds to learn more about the company's culture. Post-interview process. The interviewers judge the candidate based on their resume and the interview conducted. Another round may be conducted to discuss the final call with the candidate. Results. If the candidate successfully creates his first impression and is selected, the offer letter is sent to him by the recruiter. With the understanding of the interview process, let's go through the interview rounds. Interview rounds. Phone screening. HR conducts 2 telephonic interviews. The initial call is to decide whether the candidate is the right fit or not by asking them behavioral questions. And the second is the technical phone interview, where the candidate is supposed to answer DS algo-oriented questions. Coding or technical rounds. There can be 4 to 5 coding and technical rounds. Each interview round can last from 30 to 45 minutes. The freshers are asked fewer questions than the experienced ones to judge their skills and abilities. Another question for you guys. Which of the listed platforms is acquired by Meta Platforms? Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, or LinkedIn? Answer in the comments section, and we'll update the correct answer in the pinned comment. Now, be ready to get started with the coding questions. Number 1. You're given a set of random numbers. Write a code to shift all the zeros to the left. So let's see the approach to solve the question. Create an array, ARR, and store the numbers in it. Now, traverse the given array, ARR, from right to left. And while traversing, maintain count of non-zero elements in the array. Let the count be count equals 0. And for every non-zero element ARRI, put the element at ARR in minus count and increment count. After complete transversal, all non-zero elements have already been shifted to the right, and n minus count is set as the index of first 0. Now, all we need to do is run a loop which makes all elements 0 from count till end of the array. Number 2, write a code to merge overlapping intervals. Now, let's see the approach to solve this question. Here's the explanation. Given intervals 1, 3, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. We have only 2 overlapping intervals here, 1, 3, and 2, 4. Therefore, we will merge these two and return 1, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. A simple approach is to start from the first interval and compare it with all other intervals for overlapping. If it overlaps with any other interval, then remove the other interval from the list and merge the other into the first interval. Repeat the same steps for the remaining intervals after the first. This approach cannot be implemented in better than big O of n squared time. Number 3, you're given a binary tree. Can you in place convert it into a doubly linked list? Let's see the approach to solve this question. This can be achieved by traversing the tree in the in-order manner, that is, the left child, root, right node. Transverse left subtree and convert it into the doubly linked list by adding nodes to the end of the list. In this way, the leftmost node will become the head of the list. Then, convert the right subtree into the doubly linked list. Algorithm. Define a node class which represents a node in the binary tree. It will have 3 properties, data, left, and right, where the left and right represent 2 children of a node. Root will represent the root of the binary tree. Head and tail node represent the head and tail of the doubly linked list. Binary tree to DLL will convert the given binary tree to a corresponding doubly linked list. Perform in-order transversal of the binary tree by converting the left subtree first. Number 4. Can you print the given binary's tree nodes level by level? In other words, print all nodes of level 1 first, then level 2, and so on. Level order transverse of a tree is breadth first traversal for the tree. A simple solution is to print all nodes of level 1 first, followed by level 2 until level h, where h is the tree's height. The basic solution to this is use function to print a current level. There are basically 2 functions. One is to print all nodes at a given level, print current level, and the other is to print the level order traversal of the tree, print level order. Print level order makes use of the print current level to print nodes at all levels one by one, starting from the root. Number 5. The sky is dark blue. Can you reverse the order of the string? To do this, we first calculate how many words are present in the string. Then, we shift each word at the end of the string to the left, ensuring the words we shifted already remain unaffected. Sounds simple, but no. First, we shift the rightmost word by shifting each letter in the word to the left of the string. Now, the tricky part is handling the space after the word blue. We need to move the space at the end of the string right after the word. For this, we shift just once, only within the substring the sky is, so the space at the end of the string moves before the letter T. Once the word is shifted, we need to repeat the same process, but only for the substring the sky is. Number 6. You are given 4 words, apple, pear, peer, and pie. Can this be completely segmented? If yes, then how? You are given a dictionary of words and a large input string. You have to find out whether the input string can be completely segmented into the words of a given dictionary. You can solve this problem by segmenting the large string at each possible position to see if the string can be completely segmented to words in the dictionary. If you write the algorithm in steps, it will be as follows. Number 7. Here is a list of daily stock prices. Return the buy and sell prices to maximize the profit. Max profit with at most 2 transactions equals max profit with 1 transaction and subarray price 0 to I, plus max profit with 1 transaction and subarray price I plus 1 to n minus 1. I varies from 0 to n minus 1. Number 1, create a table profit 0 to n minus 1 and initialize all values in it 0. Number 2, transverse price from right to left and update profit I such that profit I stores maximum profit achievable from one transaction in subarray price I to n minus 1. Number 3, transverse price from left to right and update profit I such that profit I stores maximum profit such that profit I contains maximum achievable profit from two transactions in subarray price 0 to I. And number 4, return profit n minus 1. Those were some main recurring coding questions from Meta. There's a set of technical questions that are asked more frequently. Let's start with them. Number 1, how will you convert decimal numbers between 1 to 3999 to Roman numerals? Also, can you do the reverse? How? 1,000, 900, 500, 400, 100, 90, 50, 40, 10, 9, 5, 4, 1. Base value, which is just smaller or equal to the given number, will be the initial base value, or largest base value. Divide the number by its largest base value. The corresponding base symbol will be repeated quotient times. The remainder will then become the number for future division and repetitions. The process will be repeated until the number becomes 0. Number 2, can you find the triplets whose sum is 0? Here's the approach. The naive approach runs 3 loops and check one by one that sum of 3 elements is 0 or not. If the sum of 3 elements is 0, then print elements, otherwise print not found. The algorithm. Run 3 nested loops with loop counter I, j, k. The first loops will run from 0 to n minus 3, and the second loop from I plus 1 to n minus 2, and the third loop from j plus 1 to n minus 1. The loop counter represents the 3 elements of the triplet. Check if the sum of elements at the ith, jth, and kth is equal to 0 or not. If yes, print the sum, else continue. Number 3, what is the largest subset whose elements are Fibonacci numbers? A simple solution is to iterate through all elements of a given array. For every number, check if it is Fibonacci or not. If yes, add it to the result. Number 4, calculate the maximum value using the plus or multiply sign between two numbers in the given string. The task is pretty simple, as we can get the maximum value on multiplying all values, but the point is to handle the case of 0 and 1. In other words, on multiplying with 0 and 1, we get the lower value as compared to adding with 0 and 1. So use the multiplication sign between any two numbers except numbers containing 0 and 1, and use the plus sign if any of the numbers is 0 and 1. Number 5, how will you convert the ternary expression to a binary tree? If we see the symbol question mark, then we add the next character as the left child of the root. If we see the symbol colon, then we add it as the right child of the current root. Do this process until we traverse all elements of the string. Number 6, how will you count all distinct pairs with differences equal to k? A simple solution is to consider all pairs one by one and check the difference between every pair. Following program implements the simple solution. We run 2 loops. The outer loop picks the first element of the pair. The inner loop looks for the other element. This solution doesn't work if there are duplicates in the array, as the requirement is to count only distinct pairs. Number 7, given is an array of positive integers. Can you find the smallest subarray's length whose sum of elements is greater than a given number k? A simple solution is to use 2 nested loops. The outer loop picks a starting element, and the inner loop considers all elements on the right side of current start as ending element. Whenever the sum of elements between current start and end becomes more than the given number, update the result if current length is smaller than the smallest length so far. Number 8, you have to find if the string is k palindrome or not. Can you do that? Explanation: string cannot become palindrome by removing only one character. The task is to transform the given string into its reverse by removing at most k characters from it. The problem is basically a variation of edit distance. We can modify the edit distance program to consider the given string and its reverse as input, and the only operation allowed is deletion. Since the given string is compared with its reverse, we will do at most n deletions from the first string and n deletions from the second string to make them equal. Therefore, for a string to be k palindrome, 2 times n is less than or equal to 2 times k should hold true. Below are the detailed steps of the algorithm. Process all characters one by one, starting from either the left or right sides of both strings. Let us traverse from the right corner. There are 2 possibilities for every pair of characters being traversed. If the last characters of the 2 strings are the same, we ignore last characters and count for remaining strings. So if we recur for lengths m-1 and n-1, where m is the length of string 1 and n is the length of string 2. If the last characters are not the same, we consider removing the operation on the last character of the first string and the last character of the second string, recursively compute the minimum cost for the operations, and take a minimum of 2 values. Remove last character from string 1, recur for m-1 and n, and remove last character from string 2, recur for m and n-1. Number 9. How will you find the minimum depth of a binary tree? The minimum depth is the number of nodes along the shortest path from the root node down to the nearest leaf node. The idea is to traverse the given binary tree. For every node, check if it is a leaf node. If yes, then return 1. If not leaf node, then if the left subtree is null, then recur for the right subtree. And if the right subtree is null, then recur for the left subtree. If both left and right subtrees are not null, then take the minimum of 2 heights. Below is the implementation of the above idea. And another approach is level order traversal. Number 10. You're given an unsorted array of non-negative integers and an integer sum. Can you find a continuous subarray that adds to a given sum? Explanation. Sum of elements between indices 1 and 4 is 4 plus 0 plus 0 plus 3 equals 7. The idea is to consider all subarrays one by one and check the sum of every subarray. Following program implements the given idea. Run 2 loops. The outer loop picks a starting point I, and the inner loop tries all subarrays starting from I. Traverse the array from start to end. For every index, start another loop from I to the end of array to get all subarrays starting from I. Keep a variable current sum to calculate the sum of every subarray. For every index in inner loop, update current sum equals current sum plus array j. If the current sum is equal to the given sum, then print the subarray. Number 11. You can see 2 unsorted arrays. How will you find all pairs whose sum is x? A naive approach is to simply run 2 loops and pick elements from both arrays. One by one, check that both elements' sum is equal to given value x or not. Number 12. Given are the 10 activities with their start and end times. Compute a schedule where the greatest number of activities take place. Greedy approach can be used to find the solution since we want to maximize the count of activities that can be executed. This approach will greedily choose an activity with the earliest finish time at every step, thus yielding an optimal solution. The greedy choice is to always pick the next activity whose finish time is least among the remaining activities and the start time is more than or equal to the finish time of the previously selected activity. We can sort the activities according to their finishing time so that we always consider the next activity as minimum finishing time activity. So number 1, sort the activities according to their finishing time. Number 2, select the first activity from the sorted array and print it. Number 3, do the following for the remaining activities in the sorted array. A. If the start time of this activity is greater than or equal to the finish time of the previously selected activity, then select this activity and print it. Number 13. What is the next number of the sequence 1, 11, 21, 1211? In each number, 1 is increasing and decreasing the ones place. If you look at the two numbers in the tens place, it's also increasing after each sequence. Then see the third line. After the 2, the 1 is also increasing and decreasing. And at last, we will add 1, as the 1 is added every time, as with the 2. Number 14. Given are two strings with binary numbers. Find the result obtained by adding those two binary strings and return the result as a binary string. The idea is to start from the last characters of two strings and compute the digit sum one by one. If the sum becomes more than 1, then store carry for the next digits. Number 15. Rearrange the given string of alphabets in sorted order and all the integers present in the string. Number 1. Start traversing the given string. A. If an alphabet comes, increment its occurrence count into a hash table. B. If an integer comes, then store it separately by summing it up every time. 2. Using hash table, append all the characters first into a string and then at the end append the integers. Number 3. Return the resultant string. Number 16. Map the digits of the given positive number corresponding to the alphabet in the mapping table. Also, return the count of the total number of decodings possible. Take suitable assumptions before coding. The possible decodings are ABA, AU, LA. Input the digit sequence. Initialize count equals 0. If the last digit is non-zero, recur for the next remaining n-1 digits and then add the result to the total count. If the last two digits form a valid character, or smaller than 27, recur for the remaining n-2 digits and add the result to total count. Number 17. Can you rotate the given square matrix by 90 degrees in a clockwise direction? The transformation should be done in quadratic time and in place. To solve the question without any extra space, rotate the array in form of squares, dividing the matrix into squares or cycles. For example, a 4x4 matrix will have two cycles. The first cycle is formed by its first row, last column, last row, and first column. The second cycle is formed by second row, second to last column, second to last row, and second column. The idea is for each square cycle, swap the elements involved with the corresponding cell in the matrix in clockwise direction. Here's the approach. The approach is similar to in-place rotate square matrix by 90 degrees. Set 1. The only thing that is different is to print the elements of the cycle in a clockwise direction. In other words, an n by n matrix will have floor n divided by 2 square cycles. For example, a 3x3 matrix will have one cycle. The cycle is formed by its first row, last column, last row, and first column. For each square cycle, we swap the elements involved with the corresponding. Number 18. State which histogram has the largest rectangular area. Also, return the area of the largest histogram. A simple solution is to one by one consider all bars as starting points and calculate the area of all rectangles, starting with every bar. Finally, return the maximum of all possible areas. Time complexity of this solution would be big O for n squared. We can use divide and conquer to solve this in big O for n log n time. The idea is to find the minimum value in the given array. Once we have an index of the minimum value, the max area is the maximum of the following three values. Maximum area in left side of minimum value, not including the min value. Maximum area in right side of minimum value, not including the min value. Number of bars multiplied by minimum value. The areas in the left and right of the minimum value bar can be calculated recursively. If we use linear search to find the minimum value, then the worst case time complexity of this algorithm becomes big O for n squared. In the worst case, we always have n-1 elements on one side and 0 elements on the other side. And if the finding minimum takes big O for n time, we get the recurrence similar to the worst case of quicksort. Number 19. You are given integers in the form of an array. How will you print the largest subarray sum having at least k numbers? A simple solution is to generate all subarrays of size k, compute their sums, and finally return the maximum of all sums. The time complexity of this solution is big O for n times k. An efficient solution is based on the fact that the sum of a subarray, or window, of size k can be obtained in big O for one time using the sum of the previous subarray, or window, of size k. Except for the first array of size k, for other subarrays, we compute the sum by removing the first element of the last window and adding the last element of the current window. Number 20. Return the product of the two integers represented as strings. We start from the last digit of the second number and multiply it with the first number. Then we multiply the second digit of the second number with the first number, and so on. We add all these multiplications, and while adding, we put ith multiplication shifted. Tips for meta interview preparation. Whether you will give your first interview over the phone, via a video call, or on site on Meta, the following tips will help you get an edge over your fellow candidates. Have a clear approach to answering the interview's behavioral, technical, and situational questions. Focus on every detail of the design the interviewer has asked. Answer the technical questions, keeping in mind their practical applications. Provide a realistic solution to the problem with different approaches. Highlight the experiences and your ability to work in different typical situations. Do not panic if the question sounds alien to you. Try to relate to something similar, and if that doesn't work, politely state that you cannot recall the answer to the question. Practice coding and boost your ability to solve coding-related problems quickly. Research various topics such as hash maps, arrays, strings, queues, hash tables, stacks, sorts, graphs, searches, and more, and increase the depth of knowledge. Practice time management by attempting several mock interviews to simulate the interview experience. FAQs. Number 1. How many rounds of interviews does Meta have? Well, the recruiters at Meta look for the right fit during the recruitment process. Usually, there are 3 rounds of interviews for the developer role. However, the numbers can increase depending on the candidate's experience and answers. The first round is the phone screening. The second is the on-site interview, and the third could be done by HR to make the final decisions before taking you on board. Number 2. Why do you want to work at Meta? It is the most frequently asked Meta interview question. The recruiter asks this question to figure out how motivated a candidate is about working at Meta. If you're applying for a developer role, you must answer this question by stating your future aspirations of growing as a developer for the company. If you're applying for the role of a senior developer, then you must state your experiences and how your abilities will contribute to the company. Number 3. Which programming language is used in a Meta interview? Is Python allowed in coding interviews? For Meta interview questions, you must be adept in Java, C++, Python, Perl, and Ruby. It would be best if you stick with one language, depending on your comfortability while answering the questions in the interview. Number 4. Is it hard to get hired at Meta? Like other top tech companies, getting a job at Meta can be challenging. But with the right skill set, in-depth knowledge, and experience, anyone can crack the interview at Meta. They look for aspirants who have the agility to solve problems, the presence of mind, and are keen to learn and grow with them. Number 5. What are the different levels of software engineers at Meta? Instead of calling different engineers principal, fellow, senior, etc., Meta has different levels for software engineers who are bifurcated based on their salary. There are 6 levels of software engineer positions, 1 to 6 at Meta. Number 6. How can I get a job at Meta? Well, the first stage is to read the job description carefully. You have to prepare yourself to match the expectations of the recruiters at Meta. Keep the documents ready with yourself. Research the company, its vision, and the working environment, and most importantly, practice the Meta interview questions mentioned above to nail the interview in your first attempt. Keep a positive attitude while answering the questions if you want to create a strong impact on the interviews. Number 7. What are the benefits of working at Meta? Besides offering lucrative positions to the candidates, Meta provides flexible healthcare spending amounts, mental health coverage, wellness centers, maternity benefits, paid parental leave, cancer care programs, dental benefits, and much more. According to a survey conducted by Glassdoor in 2021, Meta was voted as one of the best places to work. And with that, we have come to the end of this session. I hope it was interesting and informative. And if you liked it, please let us know in the comments below. And also, subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for more from Simplilearn.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.